Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Insisting that I am an individual, insisting that this is the way I have to do things, insisting that this is what I am, I cannot change, leads to crystallization of our personality, correct? The thought, the reason is, if we are, the reason I bring this point out is because if we are insisting, and if we have to insist, that is our habit. I am a husband, I am a man, I am a yogi, I am a sannyasi. Why not insist that I am infinite? है ना, simple सी बात. Why don't you insist that you are perfect? Why you want to keep insisting and maintain your individuality? And for that we have to melt everywhere. And therefore we must have that fluidity, flexibility to melt into whatever is in front of us. For example, you did yoga. If you have the respect, reverence, a feeling of greatness that this is important for me, why? Mahapurusha Sanshraya, because great people have followed it, great masters have followed it, they have proclaimed that it is great, and therefore I must also. Then what will be your attitude? That you will not, whatever, no, I do Shavasana, no, insist, I do Shavasana. Instead, what will you do? No, whatever is required at that moment, you will, the way the teacher is performing the asanas or the pranayamas, you will try to emulate that and do as best as you can to be as good or even better than the teacher, isn't it? That is important. And that's why you see small kids, they start speaking like their teacher, they start behaving like their teachers. Many times it happens like that. Affinity. That is very important. And for that, it doesn't happen just like that. For that, practice is required. Continuous availability is required. And here also, in the spiritual path, in the yoga, in the journey of the yoga, the one of the steps that is given is abhyasa vairagya abhyam tan nirodha. Again and again, if at all you have to practice, do something, do the practice of what? Practice of detachment. Life is nothing but involvement and withdrawal. Every day, involvement is waking and dream, withdrawal is sleep and samadhi. Correct? That is your observation, that is your data. Every time you are thinking, the moment a word comes to your ears, you are involving with the word. After that, there is no word, there is withdrawal from the word, isn't it? Thought. There is involvement with the thought, there is a withdrawal from the thought. There is involvement with the breath, there is a withdrawal from the breath. In my case, there is involvement with the speech, there is withdrawal from the speech. It's going on. And as the whole, for 1 hour, I'll be totally involved. But within that 1 hour, every word I'm involved, and when there is no, between the two words, I'm withdrawn from the words, isn't it? Speech. And this is the way of life. You cannot do anything about it. Continuously involvement and withdrawal. We have to choose what we get involved with, and we have to choose where do we withdraw into. Consciously, not unconsciously. Unconsciously, you are done for your whole life. Go back to sleep. Consciously. And consciously where? You remain detached. So how do Mahatmas live? Mahatmas live with full dynamism in the outside world. They live with full dynamism, inspiration, activity. That's what people see in the outside world. Look at Swami Vivekananda. Look at Swami Chinmayananda. Look at Adi Shankaracharya. In 16 years of his life, which Maharishi Vedyas gave him, in 16 years, he wrote so many, composed so many texts, wrote the Bhashya of the Upanishads and the Gita, composed so many stotras, and then 8 times he went around India and established all the Peethams and the temples, including the Sharda Peeth, the Badrinath, the Kedarnath, the Tirupati. Everything was done by him. And what have we achieved in our life? compared to that, not even one thing, very minuscule, insignificant. And that is because he is living for a higher purpose. Whenever one has a higher goal in their life, whenever we have a higher goal, automatically our mind withdraws from the lower. Yes, in the previous class I gave the example of helicopter, etc., isn't it? So any given moment of your existence, let us practice abhyas, have vairagya, be detached from the lower, and the only way to do that is by thinking of the higher. Again and again, again and again, again and again. Whereafter, I told you, the mind has got does not know the difference between real and imaginary. And once it is practices enough because of your own conviction, it starts going in. It starts automatically, by default, thinking about the higher all the time. Man is what his convictions are. You are all men, all human beings. But each one is unique because of your own conclusions of life, convictions of life. And that is what your character is. And anyone can change. Ratnakar was a daku, he was a killer, he was a dacoit, till he was a dacoit. And one day he came across Narad Muni. And Narad Muni, he said, give me your veena. He said, no, what are you stealing for? He says, I have to subsist, I am doing my karma. I have to take care of my wife, I have to take care of my children, I have to take care of my parents, and this is the only thing I know, to steal and kill. He says, Acha, will you go to, then you will have to pay for the actions you are performing, go to hell. And will your family partake in going to hell? He says, of course they will go to. He says, go and find out. He goes. All of them said, wife said, I didn't ask you to do it. Parents said, we are about to die. Why you are asking us to go to hell? The son said, Dad, I am only 16 years old and I got my whole life in front of me. Why you are asking me this type of question? The daughter, the moment the father looked at her, she started crying, and the penny dropped for this person called Ratnakar. He came back. He said, nobody wants to shake. They all want everything I bring, but they don't want to take part in my sin, the wrong that I have done. So what should I do? That person became convinced. He became detached. And from there on, that great master, Narad Muni, told him, chant Ram. He couldn't chant Ram. So he said, okay, chant Mara. You know how to kill? Maro. Mara, 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 Mara. हो गया. See? तो उसके लिए क्या हो गया? And the once he became convinced that this is the way for salvation for him, he became a Valmiki Rishi, who wrote Ramayana, the first poetry. So that shift, that change, that transformation is possible in one and all, including us. We are not gone cases. We are not gone cases. The conviction is required. And once you have become convinced, and automatically again and again expose your mind to what you are convinced as the higher, again and again. And all the what do you call, rough edges, like that ice cube has rough edges, so it's uncomfortable everywhere. It starts melting, and water is comfortable everywhere in any container. Same thing happens to this personality, this person, who by thinking of the higher, by detaching from the lower, all the rough edges start melting away, and all those rough edges are for a fictitious entity called the ego. And once those starts melting away, automatically such a person is comfortable with one and all in every situation, in every place, with whether it is children, whether it is elders, whether it is contemporaries, everyone seeks him out. Why? Because no ego. We only want to come across happy persons, isn't it? Nobody wants we are not social workers who seek out miserable people. We only seek happy people's company. जो हंस रहा है, खेल रहा है, मस्त राम है, उसके साथ हमको आनंद आता है. So this anand is not a cultivated one, but at the same time we have to work towards it by thinking of the higher, because higher is of the nature of Ananda Swarup. Our Atma or God is of the nature of Ananda Swarup. So, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam, live in this world dynamically, but have complete detachment inside to everything. Live as a husband dynamically, but inside complete Vairagya to husbandhood, because husband does not exist. Only man is there. Live dynamically outside. If the child comes, allow the fatherhood to be fully present there, but inside, totally detached to the fatherhood, because I'm not, father is only a role. Originally, I'm a man. Similarly, body, breath, mind, intellect, thoughts, emotions, convictions, all these are only ephemeral. They're only coming and going. They're only passing thoughts. I am the consciousness. Keep practicing this again and again and again and again. Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam. And the Patanjali Yoga Sutra goes into detail of explaining. I'm not going to go into that. And then here it says, Tatra sthito yatno bhyasaha. So, continuous practice, continuous efforts, continuous struggle to keep the thought, the attention, not on the thoughts, not on removing the thoughts, but continuous attention on the higher is the struggle. That is the yatna, that is the abhyas that we have to continue to, because majority of the time what do? We want to move away from what we dislike, and we want to move towards what we like. Isn't it? This is all our life. Run or run. Run away from what we don't like and run towards what we like. And we keep moving in that direction. But here we are saying, don't try to run away from anything. Only bring our attention, and this is the tapas. This is the yatna. This is the efforts of continuously remembering that you are the infinite principle, you are the conscious principle, you are the source of the whole creation. You are the source of whole creation. And you may not know it now, but scriptures are telling you, the masters are telling you, Bhagavad Gita is telling you, Upanishads are telling you the same thing. And I am interpreting the Patanjali Yoga Sutra from Vedanta point, looking at it from there. So when I have to do abhyas, I am not going to do abhyas. How can I do a practice of controlling the thoughts? Mind's job is to think, let it think, yaar. Why should I stop it? I'll only orient it in the direction that I want it. So if I have to think, I'm going to think, I'm going to put efforts of thinking that I am of the nature of the infinite, I am of the nature of Satchidananda, and the lower thoughts automatically drop away, and the higher thoughts, they will take root in the mind, and that will be the, and whatever you are convinced of, whatever the mind has become habituated of, that will become the personality of that person. And when a person is completely convinced of his divinity, such a person is called a saint or a sage. See, it's that simple. It's that simple. But we will make it complicated like this student is making. He will not accept. He says, but if I do this, if I think, if I remove the thoughts, if I give them in the right direction, then what happens? He wants to know the answers before even practicing. It is like I want to know how to swim before getting into the water. Is it possible? I used to live in Kashi, and there next my room, one of the brahmacharis was there, and he was doing PhD. काशी में बहुत PhD लिखने वाले हैं, पता नहीं क्या क्या लिखते हैं. He was doing PhD on pranayam on one particular, but he has never practiced it. He is collecting books from all the library and writing and writing and writing. And 6 years he is taking the money from the government or the university for PhD. उसकी अच्छी इनकम चल रही है. ऐसे लोग हैं. So practice, put the efforts, and for how long? Satu dirgha kala nairantarya satkara sevito dhrida bhumi. And as we keep practicing again and again and again and put these efforts, and these efforts must not be mechanical. Don't put, if you do it, if you do japa also mechanically, nothing is going to happen. It has to be done with love. It has to be done with bhav. You must be convinced that what you are doing is, what you are thinking is what you are believing about yourself. No, I am aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi, hari om, hari om, hari om, hari om. But om, ye bhi kar liya. But you don't believe that you are of the nature of Om, that you are the master of Om, that you are one with Om, that the Om, Bhagwan's speech is Om, but you are pronouncing, Bhagwan is not pronouncing. And if I say that you are Bhagwan and out of you the Om came and into you the Om merged, Kaina vacha manasendriya. We ask for it. Papam. Not like that. You have to convince yourself. But that conviction comes only through repetition. And repetition with bhav, with practice, and with a long period of practice. Not क्योंकि नहीं तो majority time क्या होता है, किसी के पास go to someone, प्लीज स्वामी जी टच, आई गॉट दिस प्रॉब्लम, आशीर्वाद दीजिए. आशीर्वाद क्या? दे वांट इंस्टेंटेनियस ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. Touch my head, touch my back. I know if you touch, the back will go, the problem will go away. So practice should be just like we cannot think and work out and read about swimming and then you have to jump into the waters. You cannot read books and books of how to cycle and how to drive a car. We all have a small manual, but unless you don't get into the car, till then you don't know how to learn. अभी जिसके पास मैं रह रहा हूँ, he has just bought a car, Qashqai, and it takes him 5 minutes, 10 minutes to just park the car. So yesterday I saw from the window what he was doing. He dropped us, he went into the car park, went in, came out, came out. He was not able to work out the angles, and it took him almost 10-15 times going back and forth, and eventually he parked. Then when he came, I said, listen, when you park a car, if you have to park between these two cars, then you're coming from there, you take a bit, go further as far as possible and then come in. What he's doing, he's coming straight into the car park and trying to go in. It is not going to happen. And then last night, after he went to drop someone, he practiced that. He saw you, it was easy, it was, backhand job. I said, now do the same thing, but in a different way to reverse the car. देखो जाने के बाद पता चलेगा. So until unless you don't get into the car, you are not going to be able to learn how to drive. Just like a small child, we are talking about abhyas and vairagya and continuous practice. A child does continuous practice from childhood. पहले पैर हिलाता रहता है, फिर टर्न होना, then he learns how to turn, then he learns how to crawl, then he learns how to move on his bum, then he learns how to move on his fore, then he learns how to during that period continuous exercise of his hands and legs is going on. He keeps kicking. The strength is building up. He doesn't know what is strength, but he is looking around, everyone is walking and I am lying down. And then he learns how to stand. Many times he falls, but he doesn't complain. Vairagya. It's a kshanik. For one moment he will cry, but next moment he is up again trying the same thing. And then he learns how to take a few steps, then he learns how to walk and then eventually run. But imagine if he said that, no, yaar, I don't think it is in my destiny to walk. Because I have fallen so many times. If this thought was there, would any one of us be able to walk today? But why after growing up we have these type of thoughts? They are detrimental to our growth. Nothing is impossible in this life if we are able to commit to it with no complaints. And in this way, Dirgha kala is for long time, Nairantar is continuous, and keep working towards it with love. And in this way, the student continues to work towards his perfection. And in that, all that you think you are, take example for example, when you are going to sleep every night, when you are sleeping, are you a man or a woman? You don't know. You have given up. Are you a husband or a wife or a brother or a father? You have given up. Are you rich or poor? You have given up. Are you hungry or thirsty? You have given up. You have given up your past and future. Everything you have become detached from. Only when you are detached from everything. And how you have got detached from everything? Did you pluck out, like in Harry Potter, the what is his name? The Dumbledore. The Dumbledore used to take out his memories and put it in the seal. Are you taking out each one of your memories and saying, now I am detached to this, now I am detached to that, now I am detached to that? All you do is think of your sleep, and in that process, Every memory about yourself is deleted, obliterated, temporarily maybe, but it happens by itself, isn't it? Why? Why? Because you have given value to sleep, therefore you want to go to sleep. Because you have an experience that going to sleep means bliss. Going to sleep means I am free from all responsibilities. I am free from all pains. I am free from all memories. I am free from all anxieties of the future. Because I am nobody there. Think. And you are thinking about that which cannot be thought. Sleep, I have made it into a thought. Empty mind, I have made it into a thought. And in just thinking about nothing brings about a detachment from everything I have thought that I am. Even more so when I start contemplating on the reality, the Uddharet Atmana Atmanam, automatically this detachment will come about with everything that I have thought I am. Why we are telling you all this? So that you understand how your mind functions. That is the whole purpose. Samadhi is not a very difficult task. No. Only after yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyaya, dharana, dhyan, then samadhi. I have to do all these things to get into samadhi. But if I tell you that you are in samadhi all the time, but you don't know it, between every two thoughts you are in samadhi. Samadhi is what?
Sorry.
What is samadhi?
Going to our own soul.
No, more technically,
Thoughtless.
samadhi is not only thoughtless. This is where the problem comes. Samadhi is a state where your mind has having no thoughts. You are conscious. Don't forget that part. Because if only there are no thoughts, there are no thoughts in sleep also. And you are unconscious. Samadhi is you are conscious. So are you conscious between two thoughts where there are no thoughts?
Yes.
You are in samadhi. Very temporarily, between two thoughts, between two breaths, you are in samadhi. All you have to do is widen that gap. All this technology given here in Samadhi Abhyas is to widen that gap. You can widen that gap. Here it's telling you to showing you how to understand. The student did not understand Chitta Vritti Nirodha Tadadrishtu Swarupavasthanam. So now he wants to understand his mind. In other words, he wants to understand that can never be understood. And yet, Patanjali Yoga Maharaj has given these verses to the best, that this is how the mind functions. Because how can you work out that which is not? How can you make a husband perfect? Is there something called perfect husband? Because husbandhood, fatherhood, brotherhood are only hats, are only roles that you are playing, but reality is man. So that which is only an apparition, that which is only a ghost, how can that fellow be perfected? Exactly the same way. Mind is only a product of circumstances. It's like, I want to make the rainbow perfect. I want to make the blueness of the sky perfect. I want to make the sunset or sunrise perfect. No, whichever way it appears, it is perfect. Whichever way the mind is expressing, when matter and spirit come together, mind comes about. You have not created the mind. If you have not created the mind, how you are going to perfect the mind? See, these wrong notions and wrong conclusions about these basics create a lot of problem for us. So who can perfect the mind? If at all we have to say that we have to perfect the mind, who can? The Creator. The Creator can perfect it. Because what is perfection of the mind? What is the perfection of the mind? I'm asking. Remember first lecture. Can I perfect the 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 the, the wave? Can I make the wave perfect? Its nature is to come and go, to appear and disappear. The nature of the mind is to have thoughts. So when we have thoughts, with reference to the thoughts or no thoughts, we say there is a mind. Only with reference to the thoughts we say there is mind, because it helps us in interacting with each other. But actually, what is the essence? What is the material out of which the mind is created? What is the material out of which the wave is created? The ocean or the waters. Ocean the Lord, water the perfect absolute. So what is the material out of which the thought is created or mind is created? Consciousness. So it is already perfect. It doesn't know it. That's all. The mind doesn't know it. Why? Because it is lost in some thought, some role, some idea, some conviction. Change your change your convictions, and there you are. What happens to you? You went to the Yajna Mandap. Most of you are married. So you went to the Yajna Mandap, and there you put the mala around the girl put the mala around you, you put the what do you call that, सिंदूर मंगल सूत्र डाल दिया तुमने, उसने अंगूठी पहनाई, तुमने अंगूठी पहनाई, and from that moment onwards you started accepting yourself in front of everyone. You accepted. Now they declare you are the husband and wife now. And after that, the hell breaks loose. No. But you accept yourself, that she accepts herself, we are husband and wife, and they start taking that role to be real. They forget that they are man and woman first, and they start accepting the role to be more important than the original. But man is a little bit different. What does he do? शादी के बाद भी he will go with his friends, he will go out for movies, he will go for matches, and धीरे 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 he is stored in line. Then he understands. Arey yaar, I am a husband now, I am not a bachelor anymore. Still he keeps trying. Isn't it? Same is our mind also. It will keep wanting to go out into the world and engage and take on the various roles. You have to keep reminding it. You have to keep reminding it. And the practice doesn't have to be long. You can get convinced in one go, or you can do the drama of getting convinced and not be convinced for many lifetimes. इसीलिए शादी सबके सामने की जाती है. You got no choice but to accept. It goes deep into your psyche that now you are married. With so many people are the proof. Same way, when we are in front of a teacher, when we are like that Ratnakar Daku was in front of Narad Muni, we go to an ashram to study, or we have to convince ourselves that we are of the nature of truth, reality. Don't wait for other people to convince you. It is not going to happen. You have to convince yourself. And it can happen in one go, just like when you married, you accepted you are the husband. The moment child came, you accepted you are the father. The child grows up, he accepts these are my parents. He doesn't question, how come? Show me the proof. You show the proof of paper, birth certificate, your name. But that is not the proof. There is no direct proof except that paper. But it's faith, isn't it? He believes, he trusts that what he has been told, that these are my parents, are my parents. Exactly the same way. And as this person starts contemplating in this way, this manner, then that type of, and when you start thinking about something, then what happens? You are becoming focused on it. Focus means what? Concentration means what? Single pointedness means what? It means thinking about one particular thought to the exclusion of everything else. You have come to do yoga here, you have come to do the retreat. So, coming here for 2 days, all other things in the world you have left it as they are, you are focused on your time here. When you are doing the practices with Subhaji, you are totally focused with that and you are forgetting about hunger, thirst, comfort, discomfort. Nahi, but yoga karna hai. Whatever he is telling, you are following that. When you are coming here in the class, you are listening, everything else is secondary. Only this is primary, correct? This is focus. Yeah, but that each one of you have to decide that you are here 100% or in your mind some story is going on, some comparison is going on, some distraction is going on, some past memories are coming, and some word that I am saying is triggering something. So I keep giving different examples. So are you lost in those triggers which are bringing out some memories, or are you completely 100% with every word that is coming to you here in the satsang? That only you can decide. I can't decide for you. See? That leads, that concentration. I will prefer there is no concentration. But Patanjali Yoga Sutra says concentrate. Concentration gives headache. I have gone through that. It has to be sahaj. When you go to sleep, do you concentrate? You're focused, you're single pointed on sleep, but are you, see, think about it. Is it natural concentration or is it forced concentration? It must be natural. And that natural concentration leads to samadhi. And here, what are the various? Vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmita, rupanu, gamat, samprajnataha. So these are the different types of samadhi. We are not going to go into the various ones, but they are called samprajnat and asamprajnat. With alamban and without alamban. With thought and without thought. That will be told in the next chapter in an easier way. Where it is told that with thoughts, the samadhi with thoughts, when you say the Ashtanga Yoga that you are practicing, in that Ashtanga Yoga, the samadhi with thought is with the what is that? Rupanu. Shabdanuvit and Rupanuvit. So first is Rupanuvit, second is Shabdanuvit, Savikalpa Samadhi, correct. So Rupanuvit means as you keep focusing, as you become settled in yourself, whether it is with mantra or whatever, our mind settles down, gets focused and gets absorbed in some form. Right now, if you say, I'm a good husband, I do my duties, you have gone into samadhi with respect to your wife and children as a husband. Here we are not talking about that. We are talking about going into samadhi, contemplating on the higher, which is the self or the Lord. So with thought is of the form and the thought is of the sound. And these two thoughts can, even though there is a thought and when you are focused on it, so we see all the devotees of the Lord, they have the Laddu Gopal Krishna, or Mirabai had Mere to Giridhar Gopal Dusra na koi. Sudas could not see, had no eyes, but he was devoted to the Lord. and continuously thinking. Today, now, if you know, see Ramabhadracharya, you know, the naam suna hai na aapne sabne? So he's blind. But you see how much knowledge he has, and he's continuously, उनकी आंखों में से आनंद के आंसू निकलते रहते हैं, because he's seeing the Lord in front of him continuously. So, your first samadhi, a mother is in samadhi with the child because continuously that child is in front of her. And she loves because it is an extension of her. And she has no other thought but the child. And therefore, because of that concentration, whether the child is crying because he is hungry, because he has done shoo-shoo, because he has done she, because he is cranky, or he's for what that cry the mother can work out is for what reason. She is in tune with him so much. Exactly the same way. When we are in tune with the Lord or His name, it leads to samadhi. And that samadhi is savikalpa. That is in the second chapter. And that savikalpa means with thought. Picture, form is the quality of what? It is the quality of the fire element. Space has got no form. Air has got no form. Fire has a form. Sapta jivha. Water has form. And earth has form. So, which is the first element from where the form appeared? Fire. So, when in concentration or focus or single pointedness leads to generation of fire. It purifies. And what does fire do? Purify. And when the goal is higher, automatically such devotees, such seekers, they see the Lord and they can fall into samadhi, savikalpa samadhi, just by merely seeing the picture of the Lord or seeing the form of the Lord. Higher than that is the shabdanuvit savikalpa samadhi. That you see you listen to the sound, because whatever the form is, that form has a name. No form is without a name. Name and form go hand in hand. Everything that has a form must have a name. Every name must be corresponding with a form in the world we are talking about. So now we are going to form. See, what is the quality of space? I don't know if you know that. What is the quality of space? Sound. From space came which element? Air. So from space, air came. What is the quality of air? Sound of space. Space is the cause, effect is the air. And quality of space is sound, that is borrowed to the air. So air makes sound, and the quality of air by itself, its own quality, is touch. Then from the air came fire. When the air moves very fast, the heat is generated. And that heat, now what is the quality of the heat? Sound from the air, space, touch from the air, and its own quality is form and heat and light. Correct? So fire crackles, that is the sound. The fire is hot to touch, and its own is the form. You can see. Air you cannot see. Similarly, then from fire, the water came. The water has all the previous qualities plus its own quality called touch. Sorry, not touch. Taste. Taste. Not a gandha. Rasa. A taste. And similarly, from the water came the earth, and therefore earth has all the previous one's qualities plus its own, the smell. And you can go into any one of these and go into samadhi. You can go into any one of these. But our goal is not to, we are in samadhi right now because I am body identified. I want to go beyond. I can go into samadhi by focusing on breath. It will lead to between the two breaths and I will go into samadhi. See, people do practice that. Then with thoughts also you can go into samadhi. But our goal is not to go into samadhi and come out of samadhi. Our goal is to be in sahaja bhav. 24/7 we are living. And is there a way that I can continuously be in that state of heightened poise? So here, first is the samprajnat is with alamban, asamprajnat is without alamban. Am I correct? Savikalp and nirvikalp. So first, we train the mind with the form because it's easy. Then we move to the sound, it's subtle. And then we go beyond the sound, which is nirvikalpa. And in this way, one can go through various stages to practice. The student here, he understands all this, but he says, where are we? Here he says that the samadhi, when not followed by extreme non-attachment, becomes the cause of the remanifestation of meaning rebirth. So you can go into samadhi, but it will not lead to perfection. Perfection means what? There is no rebirth. That is perfection. So birth, rebirth, this is the phenomena. What is the tapas that the Lord is doing? What is the tapasya? You are doing tapasya of coming here, doing yoga, listening to this lecture, preparing the food. What is the tapasya of the sun? What is the tapasya of the sun? To continuously emanate light, isn't it? What is the tapasya of the Lord? What is the tapasya of the Lord? The Lord knows that He is one. Ishvara knows that He is one. Ishvara knows that He is one without a second. Ishvara knows that He is the Parama, He is the Paramatma Swarup. But then why is He called Ishvara? Because with reference to His potentiality, that Paramatma is called as Ishvara. You know you are man, then why you are accepting yourself a husband? With reference to wife, you are a husband. Exactly the same way, with reference to His Shakti, His potentiality, that Parabrahma Paramatma is called as Ishvara. Who is this Ishvara? Ishvara is, we mentioned it before, Ishvara is He who is uninfluenced by His Shakti. Shakti is inseparable from Him. Shakti is Trigunatmika. Shakti is creating this whole world, that all the variety that you are seeing. But who is Ishvara? The conscious principle. Ishvara as a principle and Jiva as a principle. Ishvara is He who is not disturbed because of His potentiality. That potentiality, that infinite Shakti, call her Lakshmi, call her Parvati, call her Saraswati, call her just Shakti. What is that Shakti within us? Our Shakti is our mind. And what is our problem? We are disturbed by our own mind. And as long as we are disturbed by our own mind, we are an individual. The day we cannot master our mind, but we can contemplate on the higher. People will not agree with me here that we cannot master our mind. But again, I bring you back to that 1400-year-old Changde Maharaj who perfected his mind. Narad Muni, who perfected his mind, still had the desire of getting married to one girl. Huh? So mind job is like that. It is fickle. It can give you a sense of peace and quietude for a long period of time, but eventually it will sabotage. Meaning, it will have thoughts. It can be sattvic thought, rajasic thought, tamasic thought. You don't know if you are not taken a step outside it. So same way, Ishvara is he who knows his potentiality but is uninfluenced by his potentiality. And who are we? We know we have a potentiality, we have the ability, we have a mind, we can focus, but we are succumbing to our mind. We are attached to our mind. We are attached to our personality. We are attached to our roles. And therefore, that infinite is not able to express at this moment. It is expressing, but we are covering it up because of our wrong orientation. And in this way, and as long as we are in samadhi, when you go into samadhi, what happens? You come out of it, what happens? You go in just like you go into sleep, and when you wake up, same world, same wife, same children, same house, same everything, same way. In meditation also, same thing happens. You detached from everything, went into meditation in samadhi, but when the samadhi is over, after 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever that stamina you have, you could go in. And when you come out, again the same world, again the same joys and sorrows, again the same hunger and thirst, again the same job that you have to go to, again the same disease and health. So what did we achieve? So we have to come to a disposition where all this does not happen. We want to have a samadhi wherein, whether we are inside, mind is withdrawn or mind is involved, the samadhi has to be maintained. That will be the sahaj bhav. That will be the sahaj bhav. Otherwise, everything will keep repeating itself. And this is what is told here. Continuing, and here then he says, then here I'm not going to, if we have to, we'll talk about it afterwards, but just here it says, Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Prajna, Purvaka, Itaresham, that samadhi comes through faith, energy, memory, concentration, discrimination of the real. So all these are prerequisites. Frankly speaking, if you are thinking of the higher, automatically, without doing practice of these, they will automatically come to you. All you have to do is just become totally convinced that you and the higher are one. See? Otherwise, you practice on virya, you practice on brahmacharya, you practice on memory. I have to remove the memory, you have to practice on discrimination, and every time you, अरे यार फिर भूल गया, अरे यार जब करना था भूल गया, अरे यार ये वाला आसन करना था, I forgot, oh अरे यार ये प्राणायाम भूल गया. कितनी बार तुम भूलोगे? Easier way is that you focus on the higher and allow whatever adjustment has to come about by the will of the higher rather than the individual will. Catch this point, the first 3 verses will happen in your life. Sutras, not verses, sutras will happen in your life. But our problem is we take the ownership that I have to do it, I have to reduce the thoughts, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do samadhi. As long as this I is there, you are caught up in the cycle. You will never be able to escape. And in this way, the student is practicing all this, and he says, "Arey yaar, my mind is still," because the I is still there. And when the I is still there, he's practicing all this. it is not leading to perfection. Samadhi is not leading to perfection. Again and again he is coming out and finding the world is too much. So he says, how do I get into, why is it not happening? Why am I not merging permanently? So then the teacher says that you are doing it mechanically, you need some bhav. How do I generate the bhav in this practice? So here the teacher says, Ishwar pranidhanadva, and samadhi can also be brought about through. Till now we were talking about practices without any alamban. Now alamban is brought. He says by thinking about or devotion to Ishvara. So remember what I said, that Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So Savikalpa Samadhi is with some alamban. And that is then the student says, Ishvara, who is Ishvara? How do I connect with Ishvara? How do I contemplate on Ishvara? How do I associate with him? Question, हमारे पास तो questions तो galore है. There is no end to. Everything is told. How, why, when, where. So how do I interact with Ishvara? So then the student is told that I'm just missing some, bypassing some verses. He is told that you take Om. Om is the alamban of Ishvara. Om is the name of Ishvara. And with that Om, you contemplate on Ishvara. Like what we do, we Om Namah Shivaya. And if I chant Om Namah Shivaya for some years and I see there is no progress, then suddenly I feel others are progressing faster. Where do you go? Oh, I go to Subhaji. Chalo bhai, change kar lo. We go to Subhaji. Tomorrow, after few years, again you will have the same question. Because you are continuously market research चल रही है. You're not going in. You're looking outside कि कहाँ पे progress कौन ज़्यादा कर रहा है. अरे तुम अपनी औकात देखो ना. You see yourself where you are. And he starts looking outside and keeps changing. Simple. All words begin from Om. All mantras begin from Om. So there should be no confusion in your mind. Whether you chant Om Namah Shivaya, whether you chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, you chant Om Gam Ganapataye Namah, it does not matter. But Om is the name for Ishvara. Om is the way to connect to Ishvara. Om is the speech of Ishvara. So chant that. And here it is told, and by chanting that particular syllable, one becomes Om is infinite. What is the sound of space? Remember we talked about space? The quality of space was sound. That sound is the unstruck sound. Our sound is coming when vocal cords are hitting each other and then the sound is coming. Om is the unstruck sound. That is the natural sound of the space. If you close your ears, you will hear a continuous hum. That is the end part of the Om, which is continuously going on. From Om came all the vowels, from the friction of the vowels with each other. Vowels are nothing but energies. But friction of energies with each other came about the various consonants. Ka, kha, ga, ga, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja, na, cha, and with each alphabet came some aspect of creation. With ka came the kal. With kha came the space. With ga came the gati. And this way each alphabet of the consonants in our Sanskrit language, Devanagari, one aspect of the creation came into existence. And when you merge, when you collapse all the alphabets and go back to the source, which is Om, then naturally with the collapse of the alphabets, the creation is also collapsing. Think, every night when you go to sleep, all language is going, all thoughts, you can only think by way of alphabets, isn't it? Everything is collapsing and you go back to the source. So here, so here with Om, you with Bhava you chant Om, and that will take you to that Samadhi. And then it goes on. Tasya Vachakaha Pranavaha. He manifests as the word Om, who? The Ishvara. And then Tad Japas Tadartha Bhavanam, the repetition of this Om and meditating on it, on its meaning is the way. Where will you find the meaning of Om? In the Upanishads. One Upanishad, but don't go straight to it. First practice chanting. Again, it will be like wanting to know swimming without getting into water. It is like that. So first practice. And the Upanishad that tells you in detail about Om is the Mandukya Upanishad. That is the one. And by chanting this mantra, that by chanting this syllable, what we gain is, we gain here it says tata pratyek chetana adhigamaha apyantara ya bhavascha, that we, as we keep chanting the Om, we will start introspecting. If you do it with bhav, you introspect and recognize that you are of the nature of infinite, and at the same time, the more you think of the infinite, to that extent, all that was impediment in your life, the obstacles in your life, the shortcomings in your life, in your thinking that I am an individual, I am this role or I am that role, and all these roles were impediments in you accepting yourself as the infinite. All these obstacles start melting away by themselves. You don't have to worry how, you don't have to worry when, but you keep chanting with bhav, automatically all the melting away of your rough edges, it starts happening. And as a result, what will happen? You will find yourself in the right place, at the right time, in the right exercise, with the right teacher, with the right sadhana. It will come from inside. I never had a teacher. All my practices were just, teacher. My grandfather was my teacher. But he told me once and that's it. After that, I never asked him anything. I just kept practicing till it led to this Samadhi Abhyas, and that Samadhi Abhyas then led to the question, why am I coming out and still seeing the world? Why am I not experiencing the same bliss in Samadhi when I am moving around in the world? Where I am going wrong? That led me to Vedanta. That led me to Vedanta. Vedanta helps you to transform and understand that everything is one. I didn't have to. If I had this, because I questioned, so Vedanta came into my life. If I had not questioned and kept practicing, it would have happened by itself. But it takes some time. We have to have the patience. I didn't have the patience. And in this manner, we will leave it here for the moment, and we'll look at the further thoughts in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment.